The garbage truck screeched to a stop as Jake Miller slammed his foot on the brake. His hands were shaking so badly he could barely hold the steering wheel. In the side mirror, he saw it again, his own reflection, but it wasn't moving the same way he was. He raised his right hand. In the mirror, the hand stayed down. Jake screamed. He jumped out of the truck, heart pounding, breathing hard. The early morning street was quiet, empty, washed in pale blue light from the rising sun. Trash bins lined the sidewalk like nothing was wrong. Like this was just another normal morning. But Jake knew it wasn't. Because whatever he touched that morning was still inside him. And it was waking up. Jake leaned against the truck, trying to calm down. "Get it together," he whispered. "You're just tired." But then he felt it again. A crawling feeling under his skin. Like fingers moving inside his arm. He slapped his forearm hard. The feeling didn't stop. It moved higher, sliding slowly toward his shoulder, cold and heavy. Jake's phone buzzed in his pocket. He flinched and pulled it out. A text from his partner, Lewis. "Where you at? You skipped 3 houses." Jake stared at the screen. His vision blurred for a second, and the words on the phone seemed to bend and twist. "I'm fine," he typed back. "Truck problem." He shoved the phone away and looked down at his hands. They were dirty, like always after work. But now there was something else. Dark marks, spreading under the skin of his fingers, thin like veins but moving slowly, almost like they were alive. Jake backed away from the truck. No, 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 no. And just like that, his mind flashed back to earlier that morning, before everything went wrong, before he touched it. The day had started like any other. Jake woke up at 4:30 a.m., drank bad coffee, pulled on his orange vest, and kissed his sleeping wife on the forehead. He didn't wake her. He never did. By 5:15, he was on his route. Same streets, same bins, same quiet neighborhoods, until he reached Maple Court. The last house on the street had a bin that wasn't supposed to be there. No one lived there anymore. The house had been empty for months, windows boarded up, yard overgrown. Jake frowned. "That's new," he muttered. He rolled the bin toward the truck. It was heavier than normal. Way heavier. When he lifted the lid, the smell hit him first. Not garbage. Not food. Something old. Something wrong. Inside the bin was a black trash bag tied tightly at the top. The plastic looked wet, like it had been left out in the rain, even though the night had been dry. Jake hesitated. He should have left it, called it in. But he didn't. He grabbed the bag. The moment his fingers touched the plastic, the bag twitched. Just a little. Jake yanked his hand back. "What the?" He laughed nervously. "Rat," he said. "Just a rat." He reached in again. This time, the bag moved more. Something pressed back. From the inside, Jake's heart started racing. He should have dropped it. He should have walked away. But before he could let go, the plastic tore. And something cold and dry wrapped around his fingers. Not fur. Not skin. Something hard. Like old leather. Jake screamed and fell backward, ripping his hand free. The bag collapsed into the bin, completely still now. His glove was torn. Underneath, his skin was gray where it had been touched. Jake stared at it, frozen. Then the feeling started. The crawling. The cold spreading under his skin. Back in the present, Jake slid down to the curb, breathing fast. The street felt farther away now, like he was looking at it through glass. Across the road, a woman stepped out of her house to grab her trash. Jake looked up. She smiled politely. "Morning," she said. Jake opened his mouth to answer. But what came out wasn't his voice. It was deeper. Slower. Wrong. The woman's smile faded. Jake felt his body stand up on its own. He tried to stop it. He couldn't. And as he took his first step toward her, he realized something terrifying. Whatever he touched that morning didn't just change him. It was learning how to use him. Jake watched his feet move even though he didn't tell them to. One step, then another. The woman across the street took a step back, confused. "Sir, are you okay?" Jake tried to scream run. He tried to raise his hand and wave her away. But his mouth smiled instead. A slow, stretched smile that hurt his face. "Morning," the voice said again. Not his voice. The woman's eyes widened. She sensed it now, the wrongness. She grabbed her trash bin and pulled it closer to her chest like a shield. "I'm calling the city," she said nervously. "You don't look well." Jake felt anger rise inside him, sharp and sudden. It wasn't his anger. It felt old. Hungry. His body took another step forward. "No," Jake whispered inside his head. "Stop. Please stop. The thing inside him didn't listen. It pushed. Jake's arm lifted suddenly and grabbed the edge of the woman's bin. The metal screeched loudly. The woman screamed and let go, stumbling backward. "What are you doing?" she yelled. Jake finally broke free for a split second. He forced his body to turn away. He ran as fast as he could, down the street, away from her, away from everyone. He didn't stop until his lungs burned. He ducked into a narrow alley between two houses and collapsed against the wall, sliding down into the dirt. His chest rose and fell fast. His hands trembled. "I'm sorry," he whispered. "I'm sorry. I didn't mean." The crawling feeling returned. Stronger. It moved from his arm into his chest. He felt pressure behind his ribs, like something was pressing outward from the inside. Jake gagged. His vision blurred, and the alley twisted like it was melting. Shadows stretched along the walls, bending toward him. Then he heard a voice. Not out loud. Inside his head. "You touched me." Jake shook his head violently. Get out. Get out of my head. You woke me." Images flooded his mind. Dark places, deep underground, piles of trash and broken things. People throwing things away they didn't want anymore, including bodies. "I was forgotten," the voice said, buried with the rest. Jake's stomach turned. "What are you?" There was a pause. Then the voice smiled. "I am what you leave behind." Jake screamed as pain ripped through his arm. The dark marks under his skin spread fast now, branching across his chest and up his neck. His heartbeat slowed, then sped up, then slowed again. He heard footsteps at the end of the alley. "Jake," a familiar voice called out. "Lewis." Jake's partner. Lewis stepped into the alley, worry all over his face. "Man, what's going on? You took off, Anne." Lewis stopped when he saw Jake's face. "Whoa," he said softly. "You don't look good. We need to get you to a hospital." Jake looked up at him, tears in his eyes. "Don't come closer." Lewis frowned. "What?" "Don't," Jake begged. "There's something wrong with me. I touched something. It's inside me." Lewis took a step forward anyway. "Jake, you're scaring me." Jake felt it again. That push. That hunger. His body stood up fast. Too fast. Lewis stepped back. "Jake." Jake's hands clenched on their own. His teeth hurt. His jaw felt tight, like it wanted to open wider than it should. "No," Jake cried. "Lewis, run. Please." The thing inside him surged. Jake lunged. Lewis barely had time to shout before Jake slammed into him, knocking him against the alley wall. Jake's face was inches from Lewis's, breath cold, eyes dark. Lewis struggled. "Jake, stop." Jake fought it with everything he had. His body shook violently as he tried to pull back. For one moment, just one, Jake was in control. He shoved Lewis away hard. "Gio," he screamed. "Get help." Lewis didn't hesitate. He ran. Jake collapsed to his knees, sobbing. The voice inside him laughed softly. "You can't fight me forever," it said. "And when I take you completely, I will not stop with one." Jake looked down at his hands as the dark veins pulsed under his skin. He knew then. This wasn't an illness. This wasn't poison. It was a beginning. And somewhere nearby, he heard sirens starting to rise. The sirens grew louder. Jake lifted his head slowly. Red and blue lights flashed at the end of the street, bouncing off walls and windows. People were coming. Help was coming. But the thing inside him didn't sound scared. It sounded excited. "They will see me," the voice said. "They will touch me too." Jake pushed himself up and stumbled out of the alley. His legs felt heavy, like they didn't fully belong to him anymore. His skin was cold even though the morning air was warm. He saw Lewis across the street, talking fast to two police officers. Lewis pointed at Jake, his face pale. "There," Lewis said. "That's him." Jake raised his hands. "Don't get close," he said. "Please. I'm not safe." The officers stepped forward carefully. "Sir," one officer said, "we're here to help you." Jake shook his head. "No. You don't understand. I touched something this morning. It was in a trash bag. It's inside me now." The officers exchanged a quick look. The thing inside Jake pushed again. His hand dropped suddenly, fingers curling. His body leaned forward. "Stop!" Jake shouted, fighting with everything he had. "Don't come near me." The officer closest to him reached out anyway, placing a hand on Jake's shoulder. The moment skin touched skin, the officer gasped and pulled back. "What the?" the officer whispered. Jake screamed as pain ripped through his chest. The dark marks under his skin surged, spreading faster than before. His vision filled with images that weren't his, old streets, broken buildings, people throwing things away without looking back. The officer stumbled, grabbing his arm. "It's cold," he said. "Something's wrong." Lewis backed away slowly. "Oh my God." Jake dropped to his knees. "I'm sorry," he cried. "I didn't know. I didn't mean to touch it." "You were chosen," the voice said calmly. "You do what others won't." Jake felt his mouth move without permission. "We clean," the voice said through him. "We carry what no one wants. We remember what you throw away." The officers raised their weapons but didn't fire. They didn't know what they were looking at anymore. Jake looked up at Lewis one last time. "Listen to me," he said, his real voice breaking through. "That house on Maple Court. The bin. Don't let anyone else touch it. Burn it. Bury it. Do anything." Lewis nodded, tears in his eyes. "Jake." Jake felt himself slipping. His thoughts faded like a bad dream. "Enough," the voice said. "I will drive now." Jake's body stood. The officers shouted. Jake turned and ran, not fast, but steady, down the street, away from the lights, away from help. No one chased him. No one dared. Hours later, they found the garbage truck parked neatly at the end of Jake's route. The engine was still warm. Jake Miller was never found. The report said he disappeared. But strange things started happening after that. Other garbage workers reported bins that felt warm, bags that moved. People complained about collectors acting strange, quiet, watching too closely. And sometimes, early in the morning, neighbors said they saw a man in an orange vest standing very still at the end of the street. Not collecting, just waiting. Because what Jake touched that morning didn't just change him forever. It found a way to keep going.